Good evening, Free Enterprise fans. Tonight we have a wonderful round of 32 match for you. Engidave versus PlumeriaKnight, Game 2. Tonight I am joined by Aaron Lore on restreaming, Ryudo on tracking, and the fantastic Fiery Blizzard on commentary. How are you doing tonight, Fiery?
I am doing well. Excited for this match. It should be a very good one. These two racers are generally very close to one another. So I am excited to see who wins this match, if we see a game 3, or if Dave finishes the series 2-0. How are you doing tonight, Scarsor?
I'm doing well.
So, this flag set, it's pretty interesting, right? It's different than our normal tournaments. We have lots and lots of power thanks to the Omnidextrous flag. Any character can equip any weapon and any armor. So obviously the first important question is, how many heroine robes are we going to find in the first 20 chests of the game?
It depends on whose luck we're using. I don't know how well Aaron Lore has been rolling, but I've yet to find one in, the last week of practice.
But we shall see. We can also go over our objectives, right? We have objectives 2 through 8. We have defeat the football gauntlet. Obviously, it's the alt gauntlet. It's a tournament. It's always going to be the alt gauntlet. We might see it for free. It might be at cave value. It might be a double. It might be at the Masa altar, or it might be a fatal eye, or it might be sealed cave. We have defeat the boss of Lower Babel, which is of course the keyless tower check. Complete cave Bahamut, or cave value, where we will not have a key item there because it's just K main, K moon, and K trap. Break the Dark Off spell with the Twin Harp. That is, of course, our lovely music check. Just as a note, you cannot just break the Dark Elf spell with the Twin Harp. You must actually complete the check. And by that, I mean you must beat the boss. You do not actually have to pick up the item. So that's a little bit of a meme. Open the Troya Treasury. Depending on where we get that Earth Crystal, we may or may not loot that treasury and rate that treasury. Drop the Magma Key in the Aggregate Well. In this case, it is Force Hook, so our underground access is going to be through that hook, which does bring into some interesting logic. And then, of course, the Forge, which we turned on Super Smith here, so it has a good chance of being a lot of power. It also has a good chance of it being, say, scrap metal, or Perseus bow, or Perseus arrows. What are you hoping for tonight, Scarsor?
In my heart of hearts, I always root for a Thor hammer. It's my favorite of the bunch. And lightning damage is, kind of sparse in four.
It is. Well, maybe we'll get an edge and we'll be able to blitz some things as well. I personally generally like to see scrap metal because it just sort of that you're hoping for something and there's this sort of disappointment and you're like, you know what? You can still do something with this, unlike, say, the Perseus arrow or Perseus bow. But we shall see if we even do the Forge. It is just required 6 of 7, so one of these objectives may not be completed. So we may not. The other settings on this flag set, it is T Pro, max tier 5. So you're not going to be able to find something like a white spear basically lying around. You have to then basically either through a trap chest or a key item check, you'll be getting more and more power. But tier 5 does include those heroine robes that I mentioned earlier, which are definitely game breaking in Omnidextrous. And a couple other things too. It is always better, or almost always better, to wield 2 weapons rather than 1. So even if you have a silver knife in that second hand, you're going to be doing a little bit more damage. Both of these racers do know how to utilize power very well. So expect things to be going very quickly. And it should be an exciting race. I believe they should be getting started in about a minute or so. Any guesses on what the random starting kit is going to be, Scarcerer?
Dave's been rooting for it, and I'm hoping to see it happen. 99 adamant armors.
That is my hope as well. If it's not going to happen in the finals, I let it be on a restream race. Let's see 99 adamant armors.
A fun runner-up would be a grab bag with a cursed ring.
Yes, there are no curse rings in this flag set, but it is not Sea Hero, so you can make your own anchor. But once you get rid of all your anchors, well, you have drained spears and drained swords and dwarf axes. Those are probably one of the more better utilized weapons in the game. You don't generally see them in vanilla free enterprise, but in Omnidextrous they're huge because they allow most characters to be an anchor in various situations. But we do see our runners starting here, and we will see what our first key item check is, who that boss is, and what our starting kit is.
And that is the Eblin kit. Do you think either of them is going to gun the Flame Dog?
Not without armor. It is interesting, though, because it is twin start. Means you don't really need too much to go into Hobbs. Palom Porum is a very viable combination early, not too much strength. But I don't think either of them are going to go anywhere but Eblin Castle. There are definitely racers in the community that would just gung-ho right into Hobbs, but realistically, in this sort of flag set, most racers are going to go to Eblin Castle immediately.
Especially with vanilla traps on. Knowing exactly which boxes are going to hurt you makes looting the ones that won't a lot easier.
Yeah, and that's for sure. It is also interesting to note we could pick up something like a rune ring and a bunch of heavy armors that could make, say, taking the Mad Ogres a viable thing early, get a bunch of levels. But that is really dependent on what you find here in Eblin. We do have 19 chests here, so we will see if we find any of the real good items.
Oh, there's that rune ring you were talking about. Let's see if the heavy armor pops up.
Yes. So Rune Ring will cut the attack of mages by half, generally to no cell, or basically only take one in the back row. For Mad Ogres, you need 64 defense. With a Rune Ring, you need 32. So that's the magic number now. But you would also want a weapon so that it wouldn't take 50,000 years.
And with what they've picked up so far, it looks like as little as a mute knife would be enough.
Yeah, again, it goes back to just being able to equip two things really does up your power quite a bit. We do get that back row ability if we don't already have it with that shuriken. The back row glitch is on, so as long as a character is ever back rowed, you will just be able to keep that status throughout the entire game. We do see, I assume PlumeriaKnight is going to also leave Eblin. Not too much power there. It's going to take way too long to take the Mad Ogres. And we'll see where our racers go from here. Dave electing to go check Zot for both probably the freebie and the Flame Dog, I imagine. Whereas PlumeriaKnight is going to go to the Hobbs, get our character check. So I think it's pretty interesting about what characters are in this sort of flag set. We didn't really talk about it.
Oh, it is very interesting. It is C standard, and we've restricted 3 characters and excluded 1. Tella is nowhere to be found in any of these seeds. And hiding behind those gated checks are Fusoya, Cecil, and Yong. One of those is not like the others.
No, I will point out quickly that Dave did score the Darkness Crystal from the Bedward check, which has very interesting implications about where that Magma Key could be, because it is Forced Hook, which means that Magma Key is not going to be on the moon. We do see Elements or Ruby at Hobbs, guarding another Porum. There is Distinct 7 in this flag set, so there's no guarantee you ever actually find a third character if your checks line up in such a way. But it is very possible to go through a seed with only 3 or 4 characters because you just hit all the dupes.
So someone in chat is asking if Yang's natural strength game makes him better with weapons. And unfortunately, that is not the case. Regardless of what Yang has in his hands, his damage is calculated based on his level and his current strength. So you can give him a crystal sword, but he's still gonna punch like he's got, say, God Hand and a Cat Claw.
You can sort of see that natural Palom's strength there with an Ice Brand and a Blizzard Spear, not killing Flame Dog outright. Does have enough armor to get through this, but Porum does go down, which is a little bit unfortunate, but she'll catch up pretty quickly.
And this isn't a lot of XP to miss out on either. It's only about 2,000 here.
No, not at all. We do get a life staff for our troubles, not particularly the power upgrade we're hoping for, but, nice for the end game when you're trying to heal, or if you're trying to heal, really. So we do see both PlumeriaKnight and Dave back-rowing all their characters. That's important to always have a way to back-row your characters in this flag set. The other interesting thing about C Standard and the way we do our restrictions is that Edge is not a restricted character. So Edge could be sitting there in Baron in, which is a little bit different than what our normal flag sets are. C Standard automatically restricts Edge. That is not true in this case. So we'll see if an Edge is, just sitting around Baron in.
I certainly hope so. The twins are maybe not quite as... They're good enough for the overworld, but once you dive down the hook route, things get a little dicey.
Do you think either of our racers are going to check Raise That Whale early and check to see who that character is on the Lunar Dais and possibly check who's at Cave Bahamut?
If Plumeria's feeling behind, he might, because he did take that loss in game 1, but I generally think that the sooner you receive the Darkness Crystal in this flag set, the later you check it.
I think the only exception I would do is once Palom learns Quake, which may not be until you're basically on the hook route, you go up there and take on the Hairdryers, which is a decent amount of HP or XP, and if you have Quake, it's a very quick check, just with the way K-Trap works. Essentially, if an area has 1 or 2 trap chests, which in this case is only relevant for basically either one trap chest, it has the same likelihood of hitting a key item as any K main check. Do get one of our freebies out of the way with the officers and soldiers. Do get a legend sword, so certainly not going to reset out of that. That is one of our items we are looking for. We do need the adamant rock in order to complete that objective. You feel a little bit sad about having the freebie this early, don't you?
Always. I'm hoping for this to show up somewhere mean, so that it's out of the way. But, as a viewer and a commentator, it's nice seeing that a greater chance of something rude on the hook route.
So the question is, for me, when I'm running these early game seeds, it's where is the hook? And if I get it, how early am I going to dive that hook route? So we see Dave going to Fabul. Standard wisdom, I feel like in a lot of seeds or a lot of flag sets, is to try to not double or even triple dip Fabul. I feel like in this flag set, that may be a little bit against sort of the grain to not do Fabul, especially if there's an Earth Crystal here. We do see PlumeriaKnight taking the more standard route and going to Baron Castle. See what that other character is. We do see a Bluff Twin. And at Baron Inn, we do see a Dr. Luque guarding a Cid, which is, contrary to other seeds, very nice to find.
Yeah, Cid has incredible natural strength growth. You need maybe 1 or 2 items to get an endgame level Cid to the strength cap.
Yes, and because of the wacky flag, being able to wield anything, really one of the better characters, or one of the best characters in this flag set. There is someone in chat who is very happy that Cid is finally getting his due and getting his day. Fortunately, we do get Dr. Luque poison here. Dave just gets a crystal sword from the king. We'll see what his next move is.
He's doing a little bit of shopping, and with S-Pro, there's not much you can find here, but a few of those low-tier items can be very useful, especially since anyone can put them on.
Yeah, I mean, you could. Sometimes you might want a Thunderclaw, and there's a Thunderclaw, so you're happy to see that. Low frauds aren't too bad either. We do see a Dark Elf at Baron in 2. That's a little obnoxious. Luckily, the spot is so slow that if you are anchored properly, this shouldn't be so bad. Especially if you have a Light Sword or something like that to do extreme amounts of damage to Dark Elf.
I believe that Plumeria's Porum is actually swinging the Legend Sword like you would in Vanilla.
Ah. Also a Holy Sword. Do you see Dave raising that way? But no, always good to utilize your Legend Sword. It's very rarely used because the only character that can generally use that is Cecil, and you'll generally find a better weapon for Cecil pretty quickly. It is the Sand Rupee that comes with that Sid. How quickly are you checking that Sand Rupee?
Oh, right away. If that's Fusoya, that completely changes the early game.
Yes. Or even an Edge. An Edge is also very nice. The ability to steal shops can contain J items, but with S Pro, it is very unlikely that you'll find any outside of maybe a couple exits in a locked shop or even a normal shop. And your Bacchus wines, your coffins, your hourglasses, sort of the nice things, can only be found in Kokel's premium shop, which requires the forge.
It's always funny to do the forge as my last objective and see hourglasses in there. And just yang at the Sand Ruby. And PlumeriaKnight is taking him.
Well, that is an anchor. Go find a drain weapon that Yang will do his work by sleeping. We do see a Palom up on the Lunar Dais. No real value there. Dave is still at 2 characters. We'll see if PlumeriaKnight continues to try to fade Fabul, or if we're going to do something else. It is going to raise the hovercraft, though, more than likely after checking what is at this waterfall check. And Dave is checking what is at K value. And looting a little bit of it, hoping to spike something really nice because it is a weighted distribution, so later areas of the game will give you slightly better items, even though they can only be max tier 5.
And who do you want to see at this early K value check?
Well, we've had a number of alt gauntlets. You kind of want to see if that's element. Well, okay, so you know the other red robe is at Hobbs, so you don't really need to check whether or not that's going to be Ruby or Elements. You're kind of hoping, honestly, the magic power there is so low that it almost doesn't matter. The issue is if it's Ruby, it's going to hurt a lot during the sort of off-turn punches, and if it's Elements, you're going to have a bit of trouble if you don't have a Holy Sword doing lots of damage for that Mylan Z. But either way, depending on who's there, it doesn't really matter. That shouldn't be too problematic by the time they actually want to go and face it. We do see, I believe, PlumeriaKnight going into Eblin, checking those traps. Like we said, it is K-trapped, so our key items can very much be in one of these 3 chests. And if it's not here, that kind of leaves one other place for the hook, doesn't it?
One singular accursed place.
Yeah. There'd be no fading of that, but let's see, this is probably the most annoying chest to start with. Just unpleasant unless you have AoE. Even if you do, it's still unpleasant.
Yeah, very difficult to keep the low-level Palom alive in this fight, especially since the heavy armor hasn't exactly been forthwith.
Oh, there was a bit on the moon, but you do have to go to the moon to find it. Sid seems to be doing all right, though.
Sid's a tough guy. He can take it.
Yeah. Do you see Dave going through that Dark Elf now, too? Yeah, a lot of the power is gonna come from these trap chests, because you're not gonna find your Holy Swords, you're not gonna find your Avengers or anything other than key item checks and traps, and you're looking for key items anyway, so most of the time you get a fair amount of power in these seeds. Sometimes that may not be the case, but more often than not, by the time you are about to face Aromas, it really doesn't matter what your levels are. You see the Cid is about to take a lot of hits. This has gotten quite scary for PlumeriaKnight. Dave does pick up that Sand Ruby from Baron.
Ooh, and there's the reset for Plumeria. Do you think he dives back in, or is it time to skip that box?
I would... my preference would always be to go to the right, and then go to the left. By the time you're done with the right side chest, Palom should have Virus, if not Quake if you do some life glitches. And if you can get an RA1 Quake caster, that chest on the left becomes significantly easier and significantly faster. Or even just a single target virus onto that Staleman. But we do see him going right back to the Skull and Staleman chest. Hopefully this time it goes a little bit better. Palom may not... Hopefully Palom doesn't get hit immediately. That was a little bit of the problem last time.
That wonderful board AI. It says random on the box, but it always seems to hit my Black Mage.
Yeah. So what's interesting, Dave has a Poison Axe from Cave Bahamut. I believe that's actually why you walked it out. Because a Poison Axe is not a bad weapon, certainly for these chests. Where you have Mad Ogres or you have Staleman, that Poison Axe will do a lot of work. But we do actually see Dave going up that said accursed mountain of Mount Ordeals.
And he elected to not take the Yang, perhaps saving him for later, for when it'll be a little easier to keep him down.
Yeah, you take a Yang this early, you have to be pretty cognizant of just keeping him down. Maybe you do spike a Drain Spear to not have to worry about that quite as much. But Palom is a pretty slow character, and the idea behind having an anchor is that you want a sweeper such as Palom, someone who is able to just clear trap chests in very annoying places with that use of Quake, to be able to get not only first action, but also just be able to act before any of the enemies are able to act. Do see that Palom going down again, and we do see what this first boss is, and it's Mega Sisters.
The magic here is actually kind of good, isn't it? Make those beefed up a little to make the lit ones from Vanilla Mylon hurt.
Yeah, it's not nothing for sure. The physicals, on the other hand, will do absolutely nothing in this spot. Now, you could risk it all and go for a twin cast here, and if you roll Comet, you get lucky, and if you roll Flare, well, you've now killed off one of your party members. PlumeriaKnight does get through that Skull and Staleman chest, does get the hook. We will not be finding it on Mount Ordeals today. We still might find something required up here. It is worth noting, again, we will not find the Magma Key here. We will not find the Magma Key directly on the moon either. It is going to be through a check that requires underground access because of that Force hook. So my expectation is, and you can say whether or not you agree with this or not, you are full clearing that underground until at least you find the Magma Key. or you
Oh.
run out of checks.
No, I agree completely. That's exactly like that's the information you've received from Bedward, that the magma key is underground. And here's back attack plague, which you don't want to be fast anchored for.
You just don't want to see it.
No, plague at any of the spots which crumble is always very annoying.
But we do have some spears. We do have some other, just spears, and you're going to get through. So the counters are all 0, but Plague is crumbling anyways. The count is sort of over too, so I'm not entirely sure how much running at the end there would actually have saved. PlumeriaKnight is going to finish those Black Cat Lamias, a chest that can be a lot worse than what you would generally think with those blusters and charms. Does get Arty arrows for his trouble. In most flag sets, you'd be happy to see that. In this flag set, it is called Put It in the Trash Can and just ignore its existence.
Oh, almost certainly.
Let's see what is on Ordeals. It is a cat claw, no value there. It is a blue robe, however. Will we see it? It is.
And Dave has found value on the accursed mountain.
The good news is your Palom just learned Virus.
Indeed. I typically want to have an Earth Hammer for this, but Virus does the job too.
Any decent AoE will do it. And some of these you will be able to get a little bit of, or you'll be able to sweep them before they take an action. Some other times you won't. We do get an HP ran out. Nice kill there, Dave. Now you got 4 more of these left. Going to go bluff. Meanwhile, we do see PlumeriaKnight taking on these Mad Ogres. Is going to make good use of the rune ring that is, I'm sure, on somebody here. I don't know who exactly is wearing that rune ring. It's clear. I don't think it's got to be Palom.
I think it is Palom, actually. I'm pretty sure I saw it there.
All right. Not too much heavy armor, then. But they go down. Let's see what our third track chest of Evelyn gives us while Dave is going through that alt gauntlet. Pinktail.
On the topic of Artemis arrows.
What do you think it is, and why is it Artemis arrows?
Well, I think it's Artemis arrows because it's always Artemis arrows. Until, of course, it's the one you don't check, and then it's an Avenger.
Or it could be a white shirt.
I would take a white shirt. The white shirt provides breath immunity, and it's plus 15 whiz. And it's undead resistance.
Yeah,
it's a really good item.
Yeah, so to explain a little bit, the Pinktail is going to be a random tier 7, tier 8 item. We, of course, say random, as we just proved. It is always Artemis arrows. But it is theoretically completely random which one it chooses. In this case, the one that is missing is a Moon Veil. It is Tino J, so we cannot get a Moon Veil from that check. So instead, Arty arrows. Dave does finish that gauntlet for a Cat Claw, but more importantly, his first objective number 2 of the seed. Only 5 more to go. He has access to 1, so he has access to 2. He'll get access to 3 going underground. These seeds generally are quite a bit faster than our normal seeds, just the amount of power you generally get, although we still have not seen a heroin rope.
And do you think that'll lead them to maybe loot a little bit heavier on the way down? Maybe trying to spike the heroin rope?
At the very least, trying to spike a little bit better armor. We just don't actually have that much armor for us. I mean, Dave has a little bit more going to the moon. But yeah, you're probably going to open quite a bit in Eblin. You're going to check the armor shop, trying to spike bandanas or black belts or headbands. But we got Dave going into taking on that Stalemate Skull. We got PlumeriaKnight going to that Antlion, not trying to single dip. Fabul is going to take care of his overworld checks as well. So Dave, I imagine, will be up a little bit of a moon check and ordeals. We'll see if PlumeriaKnight also checks ordeals before taking that hook.
He does have Quake on Palom, right? That's enough power for ordeals. Perhaps he does.
Yeah. And it does surprise me that Dave also went in this direction, because that Palom would have learned Quake very easily on the right side here.
I mean, he has a poison axe and an ice weapon. That Stalemate is, it took about 8,000 damage from Sid. And
sure, but it's going to be faster just to select Quake, and it's over. I'll have Quake for the Black Hat Lamias. Maybe he thought that was a more annoying check. But we do see PlumeriaKnight going up ordeals, is going to find not only that one piece of very nice heavy armor on the Dragoon plate, but is also going to find just how much this mountain is going to benefit him in the long run with that All Gauntlet in the changing room.
So something to mention is that the undead enemies in the Alt Gauntlet here have the rare drop is a curse ring, right?
I think one of them is, yeah. But so there is a no curse flag set, or a no cursed part of the flag string here that does not prevent them from being drops. You really want to see a curse ring, right?
It'll be very funny.
Just like we want to see like a random behemoth in Cave Bahamut give an Avenger one day. So Dave is going to stop this front Mad Ogre. It is the only one that is currently in the front row. So if you're going to stop any of these Mad Ogres, it is definitely better to stop the one in the front and keep the other two in the back row. So a nice little bit of attack or strategy from Dave there. And the Mega Sisters, after this unfortunate bounced off virus, is gonna go down, hopefully.
Oh, are we gonna see a Quake cast on the party? Palom got charmed.
Whole day. Dave does get his key items from Evelyn, that pink tail and that hook. I assume he is also gonna go and trade in that pink tail for 10 very predictable Artemis arrows, and then go down the hook route, because Dave is out of most things to do other than, doing the moon. Which, yes, there are some people who would take this and say, I'm gonna go to the moon anyways. Dave is probably gonna play this more towards the strategy of just stay on Earth forehead, which is definitely a viable strategy on this flag. But we do see that hovercraft being raised. It is interesting to note as well, because Dave has already found the All Gauntlet. He's going to be able to save just a brief amount of time by not having to check what's in the waterfall.
And later, once he's in the Fame March, you won't have to check those bosses either.
But what if it's King Queen Evelyn?
I mean, you still leave it alone and you're a little sad.
We do see those Berserks come out trying to just clog this queue, but a Berserk Sid does do enough damage to take out Plague on that one hit anyways. And is also watching this very slow crumble from Plague. And then will be rewarded. So that Young, I believe, does not have any agility subtraction gear like a Drain Sword or a Dwarf Axe. Excuse me. I don't think that Palom is RA1, but it shouldn't matter because he should be about the same speed as everyone else in the party. The other thing is you'll check the weapon shops, or you possibly check the weapon shops in these gated checks like the Eplin shop here, because it is very possible to find a Dwarf Axe or a Drain Sword from these shops. You're more likely to spike a Dwarf Axe just because it is tier 4, so you're not going to be able to find it underground, or on the overworld you'll find it underground. So I expect that sort of play from Dave, just not having any of those drain weapons. PlumeriaKnight is taking care to get rid of that Yang, just to keep his agility as low as possible, which is a good forethought because despite, this spot generally doesn't give experience, but because it's the Alt Gauntlet, it does give experience this time, so you do still have to kill your anchor.
And while Plumeria's Gauntlet was getting started, Dave did find Dwarf Axes in the hook rat shop and bought 2 of them. So his anchoring should be set for most of the rest of the seed.
Nice, cool, minus 10 agility. And there is that Earth Hammer that you spoke about before. A little bit onto weapons here. Towards the end game, it's going to be more important to just get a bunch of strength boosting gear or agility boosting gear, such as that Dragon Whip or that Earth Hammer or Power Staff, just simply because that's going to do more damage for you once you start reaching caps. Early game, it's probably going to be better to have 2 actual weapons on your character. Speaking of characters, you would say that's a pretty nice character, isn't it?
That is a pretty nice character, and I'm sure Dave is very glad that he has done ordeals.
Yes, it is not vanilla Fusoya the way Fusoya works in Free Enterprise. If this is your first time watching Free Enterprise, welcome. Every single boss you fight with Fusoya will unlock 3 spells from his 500 HP that he starts with all the way up to 1800. He'll end at 1900. Unless you're playing with J spells, he doesn't learn anything at 1900 HP. Real question is, what does this Fu know now at 1200, and when is he going to learn Nuke?
I think I'm going to be a little nice and say that it's going to be a 1700 nuke.
Alright. The Fusoya does, and the Cid, both let us get through that Dark Knight Cecil that was seen at the Ruby spot. Much better to see that Dark Knight Cecil here at Ruby rather than one spot before it, because Dark Wave is calculated based on the physical attack. And the King Queen Eblin spot, not using any physical attack whatsoever, has considerable physical attack and will hurt.
Yeah, the DKC at Ruby is actually one of my favorite spots, because then you just know he's not at the King Queen Evelyn spot.
Yeah. We could still get a Biden, we still could get an Evil Wall. But we do see another Dwarf Axe being picked up by Dave. I do not believe, for those playing a certain game, I do not believe that is 5 chests.
Oh no, that was about 10.
Yep.
He's looting. I think this might be towards the end of his looting, though. I don't think he's one for taking those extra chests on the hook route. So,
PlumeriaKnight is going to raise this whale. Does have Quake now, so I wonder if the hair dryers and the last arm are in the future for PlumeriaKnight.
I mean, hunting with Legend Sword in hand, you kind of do want to get the Adamant Rock early. If it's in the hair dryers or the last arm, that'll be a big pickup.
Yep. There's no need to check what the boss is at Giant 1 at the Element spot, because we already have our boss hunt completed. It is a nice feeling in this flag set when you do not have to hunt for that Alt Gauntlet.
I'm of the opposite opinion. I get more nervous when there is an early alt gauntlet, because then it's where are my key items? And there's just more to find.
Of course, we could always find a Baron key at Sealed Cave. But in this scene, it doesn't particularly matter. Just like that crystal helm from the Mad Ogre's chest. Probably does not matter too much. PlumeriaKnight is going to check the character on the Lunar Dais, is going to see that it is just another Palom. In several circumstances, we'd be happy. In this circumstance, we're kind of just Kind of wish it was a viable other character. Eventually, PlumeriaKnight will go down that hook route and find that Fusoya, and be a little bit happy about that, at least. What is Dave going to do here? A Dwarfax and a Cat Claw would be an interesting combination that nets to about 0.
No, it looks like he's actually going for the double dwarf to make that naturally slow Palom his anchor.
Makes sense. You have enough power on that Sid probably to just zerk up and go. So having Palom, who is probably not going to do all too much here, as your anchor, certainly makes sense. Probably switch it around again for, say, the trap chests in the underground where you're going to want that Quakecaster. PlumeriaKnight is going to turn on encounters here.
And about that Quakecaster, Fu already has Quake on Dave's side, so I think this is more of a permanent decision.
It could very well be. Palom does not gain agility quickly enough, so Fu will just stay at 20 agility until you give him some agility manipulation gear. At 20 agility, I'm not going to go into the black box that is agility here, but basically the idea is that Fu or that Palom needs to be at 7 agility or less in order for Fu to get that first action. But PlumeriaKnight is going sort of the opposite way here. It is vanilla traps, so we do know where those hair dryers are going to be. We do see a nice dispatch of the CPU. And we do see that Quake coming out from Palom. We see this DKC appear at Ruby. Ooh. Sid survived. Is going to pick up that Porum on Dave's... Well, tried to. Unfortunately, didn't get it in time, so just Fu and Sid getting the EXP from DKC. PlumeriaKnight does dispatch of the hairdryers. Let's see if it has value. I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's nothing to sneeze at for sure.
We have still not seen a Golbez. Ribbons are definitely useful for Golbez. Probably not what PlumeriaKnight was looking for, but, a little bit of EXP. And, a ribbon's a nice piece of gear, gives you quite a bit of magic defense, magic rolls. So, we do see that the top of tower, which is an objective spot, is our Octomon. Eight arms. Hold A. Not too bad. We also see PlumeriaKnight also looting the Lunar Path here, or Cave Bahamut. We'll see if he walks these out as well. Probably not too upset seeing that Poison Axe, honestly.
He'll probably exit them out, considering that he almost certainly has it. Oh, and he's going for it.
Ooh. I wonder if this is a check to see if this is Elements or Ruby. Because I don't think either of our racers actually went and looked at what fight that was on Hobbs.
No, I know Plumeria reset out of it. I don't know if Dave even checked it.
Dave is setting his bet. It is Ruby here, so the glares will still probably kill Porm and Palom unless they have Dragoon armor. The punches here absolutely will kill somebody. Max attack here. So I believe that Sid is wearing some Dragoon armor. We do have ice weaponry, so not too bad, but still, what, 37,000 HP of Ruby. We do see Dave clearing out these warriors' chests. It is worth noting Dave actually put his battle speed to 3. That basically makes getting a Quake off with this many actors on screen or this many enemies on screen free, assuming you don't really mess up in menuing, and does indeed get that magma key. And no, Scarcer, I am not saying it.
Well, neither am I, so we'll go unsaid, but that is also the Earth Crystal. How much more value do you think Dave will be able to extract from the underground?
The Rune Rings aren't too bad either, but we already have one. Well, we got at least one objective. Got the Magma Key, we got the Earth Crystal. We are one item away from Go Mode. Either that Adamant Rock or that Harp will bring us into Go Mode. So, how quickly do you go up the tower?
I mean, I usually go up the tower immediately upon reaching the underground, because it's Keyless Tower, and that's one of the memes of the flag set. And there's also the chance of a tower key from these 4 trap chests.
I believe that was pretty common in the Eblin Elixir League. Just getting tower keys always from the tower itself. We do see that Earth Hammer being put on Sid. That gives machine weakness here, so these alerts will not survive. We saw those bluffs coming out on PlumeriaKnight is doing a good amount of damage through those Quakes, 6,000. That is quite a bit of bluffing. Realistically, if you're able to keep your blinks up, you should be good with this fight. Ruby will alternate between 1 and 2 punches every time he closes his cloak, and will glare right before closing it.
I didn't know he alternated the number of punches. Learn something new every day.
Yep. We did see that rat tail come in from Dave's side as well. That was a little bit too quick for me to see it, but thank you to our tracker, and that is, what do we call it? Go mode?
I think that's, pretty sure that's go mode.
Okay.
That is very quick.
Yeah. So, I believe just stay on Earth and do your objectives.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So, Dave has 10 key items. That's a nice number, right?
Yeah. This randomizer doubles the experience you receive once you receive 10 key items. It's great. Which means 10 key items Sylph is on the table. That's a lot of XP that you can clear out rather quickly and rather reliably.
Yes. Unfortunately, PlumeriaKnight does take a wipe to that the Ruby spot at K value is going to decide to leave and more than likely get underground. And at this point is probably going to feel pretty bad seeing that Fu down at the hook route. So what's interesting about this, as I was mentioning before, you don't really need levels for Zeromus in this flag set because of the amount of power you generally get. We don't actually have that much power. Sylph may give it to us, but if you really wanted a seed that made you feel like you're playing classic Free Enterprise, you could do 1200 strats on Zeromus. We do have a few. We do know where Soma drops are. They are for sale in Eblin in the item shop. You could do Fu and Friends if you were so inclined.
But then you'd have to go shopping for star veils, and that might take as much time as grinding.
Well, I think it might depend on what we find at in Sylph. My expectation is sort of in line with you. You have 10 key items. You don't really have a great way to dispatch of the lunar trap chests or the LSD trap chests. Sylph is very quick. You know where all the trap chests are. It's going to be a very efficient grind. We also might get quite a bit of power before going to the moon anyways, because we do have that forge, which you are wanting to be the Thor hammer. I put my prediction on scrap. It is a random weapon from the Final Fantasy IV Advanced version, one of those super weapons. Feel free to put it in chat what you think the forge item will be, and if there will be heroine robes in the shop.
I don't think there will be heroine robes. I do think there will be Bacchus wine.
I don't think I've seen Bacchus wine in that shop. At least not recently.
I have. It's nice to pick up. It alters your party order for Zeromus.
We have one real berserker in this party named Sid. The rest of it is sort of named Mage, Mage, and Mage. Wonder if you could just stack all the strength gear on Sid, let him Zerk up, and then just supplement with a few nukes. Still need a couple of star veils for that, I believe, but it could work.
Yeah, maybe toss a virus from Palom. You know, if you, like, reflect a few viruses on Palom.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we do not have that pass in hand. It'll be curious to see. We won't know where the pass is, more than likely, assuming PlumeriaKnight does take the same route. PlumeriaKnight might opt to do tower first, at which point he will not get go mode until he does the warriors. But we shall see what is going to happen here. The pass is a pretty big item. Lets you not walk down the LST. We will see what this Cocoa Shop has. Ooh, there are your
And
coffins.
there's Bacchus.
Yes, and Bacchus. Do get the sunrise.
I believe the sunrays is plus agility and plus will.
Yes, I believe plus 10 agility, maybe? I don't remember exactly.
I know the number is 10.
Dave is not going to buy any Bacchus wine, though. Which does lead me to believe that he is looking for Fu and Friends.
You know, that's fair.
For those of you unfamiliar with Fu and Friends, it basically means you Starvale party. It is essentially what we also call sort of 1200 strats, except with the Fu. You Starvale up your characters, you start nuking Zeromus to have his counter nuke bounce off a wall, and then you continue doing that until you reach about 40,000 HP, so you don't accidentally tip Zeromus to his second phase at 45,000 HP dealt. And then you just reflect nukes off the wall. And then, yeah, you win. Could also take some stuff on the moon, because you are walking down here. Do you think Dave loots this treasury?
I think he might for the meme. It's early enough.
Also, you can get Sork robes or something like that. That would be useful if you are planning to do something like Fu and Friends. We did see PlumeriaKnight using size on those Mad Ogres. Very nice. Definitely takes a lot of the threat out. This is sort of what you would want if you were going into a Fu and Friends sort of strategy here. We did get Ether 1, Ether 2. Ether 2 is honestly as big as that Charm Rod.
I saw Dave buy 10 of them. Okay. So I think I'm thinking he had Fu and Friends in the back of his mind before even hitting go mode.
I mean, Ether 2s are a very nice item to just buy. Dave is also checking a lot of these shops. Did pick up some mallets.
Oh, mallets. He's doing it.
Yeah, he's doing Fu and Friends. Mallets will basically cause the counter attack without forcing any HP drain on Zeromus, so he will not tip because you're not actually doing damage to him directly. So that is a pretty clear indicator, and I assume he is also probably going to be looking for a couple more Star Veils. Meanwhile, PlumeriaKnight is getting to that orbs on King Queen Evelyn. There is one thing Dave is missing, of course. He does not have Nuke.
Which is exactly why he's coming here. Get more spells on Fu.
He is 4 bosses short of 1900 HP. He's got this. He got the Miss Cave. We do have that Dragon Whip, which does mean that if you really wanted to, you could take, say, the Red Dragon chest or the Red and Blue Dragon chest. That is Jimmy and Jimmy and Jimmy and Bimmy, or Bimmy and Jimmy, if you wanted to. But yeah, this seems like Dave is just setting up for full-on Fu and Friends. We do get our vanilla D-Mist.
You know, I think I've been seeing that a little more. I think I see that more often with the free item than without. And that's 1700 nuke.
Was not 1800. I'm always curious when it gets to this point, be like, if I'm stopping at 1700s and I get nuke already in Quake and Virus, I'm just sort of like, wait, what's at 1800?
Oh, Berserk.
Yes, I expect Dave to pick up this Yang. Yang will be the anchor. Third time's a charm. It's fine. I think Yang comes with a Charm Claw. I do not remember, though.
He does. I'm pretty sure. Or perhaps I saw him loot one in Evelyn Cave.
PlumeriaKnight is going to look at this DKC, kind of smile, looking to see if he has a better spell than Cure 2. The answer to that is no. Yeah, Dave is definitely shopping for Star Veils. So, where do you think the Star Veils are hiding? They have to be on the overworld. It is not as unsafe.
I do think then it will be in Silvera.
Naturally, because that will be the last town that Dave checks. Nope, it is Agate. Thanks for playing.
Looks like he bought 12, and that's more than enough, right?
Yes. The difference between normal 1200 strats and Fu and Friends is quite a bit because nukes are very nice. Direct nukes are very nice. But first, Dave does have to get through the Ruby at K value. He doesn't know that it is Ruby. He knows the sprite, but it could be elements in his mind. We'll see where PlumeriaKnight goes once he gets underground, about to launch this Falcon. See if he decides to go immediately up the tower or follows in sort of Dave's footsteps and takes the Warrior's Chest to the Feymarch freebie first. Or does something entirely different.
He might go immediately for Sylph to try and pick up a tower key.
Looks like... Alright. Looks like Warrior's Chest is on the menu.
I imagine they don't taste very well. All that armor gets in the way.
Not particularly tasty. Is that enough multipliers to have Quake Kill here with +6?
What's Foo's base wisdom?
Not great. I know a no gear Foo is not guaranteed to one-shot the warriors. Is one extra multiplier enough? I've wiped too many times by thinking a Foo will sweep warriors.
Foo starts with 40 wisdom.
Alright.
This might be just enough.
You see nukes coming out from Dave's side. That is a very nice amount of damage from that nuke. We do get that Ice Brand or Blizzard Spear, whichever one coming from that Sid, very quickly going to dispatch of this Ruby. And as I was kind of thinking, +6 wisdom is not enough to take care of these warriors.
And it's an extra multiplier for every 4 wisdom, right?
Is it 4? Why did I think it was 5? Maybe I'm thinking of strength and agility instead.
Well, strength is 8, and agility is
you're
16.
4. Yeah, you're right. It's 4. You get that white spear. And we do get that crystal on hand for Dave. PlumeriaKnight would have gotten that magma key to get that magma key. Is going to pick up that earth crystal, is going to realize I am 1 key item away from go mode. So yeah, now it's just a walk down the LST. Save, possibly save. You probably save. You don't need to save. This is a pretty classic Foo and Friends here. But I imagine in a tournament race, it will indeed be a save at the bottom of the moon to do your Reflect Foo and Friends strategy. Something that we really didn't think we would see quite a bit this tournament. Just simply due to normally how much power you get.
Well, it looks like it's going to prove fruitful for Dave. And in the meantime, PlumeriaKnight is in Sylph Cave. It looks like he forgot the Toad Lady is going back for her.
We're just going to do the back of Sylph first. Because you could have just walked up, just grabbed the Toad Lady, and might be thinking, what if the pan's on the Poison Treasury side? So the Poison Treasury is this group of 6 chests at the back of Sylph. Pretty quick, not too hard. If you have a sweeper, it's very fast. Plumeria is sitting at 8 key items, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, because both the Rat Tail and the Adamant Rock are up in the Tower of Babel.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me where those were. Dave is making his way down the LST. Yeah, so doing this with 8 key items is not... I mean, I don't really hate it. Honestly, for a lot of this time, again, it's like when our levels really needed, especially if you have a Sid and a Foo. So not taking the sort of waiting game and waiting for 10 key items to do Sylph, especially when it's so packed here, makes sense to me. Some people do like to wait until they get that 10th key item. We'll see if the Sylph has any value, though.
I am hoping it comes up with just the pass. Pass and an Avenger, probably.
I want to see the pass and the harp. Power Shirt's not bad.
Yeah, I'm never sad to receive a Power Shirt.
Nope. Plus 15 strength really does make quite a bit of difference. We do get this last chest that's sort of free to do with RA1 Quake. The other two chests are a bit, well, we have the centipedes on the far right. You want to virus those down, otherwise you start seeing actions. And then the Marlboro chest, where you just need to have some protection of one of their statuses, and you're fine. Rune rings will work. Ribbon will work. Choose one, and it's free. My biggest issue, of course, when I go through Sylph is just remembering what I actually have. But quickly, we do have a Zeromus sprite going, or a Zeromus fight going on. What's going to happen here?
Well, Yang is going to throw the crystal, and then a bunch of Star Veils going up.
But more importantly, Zeromus is, of course, the whole spiel is he is too big, too bad to put anywhere else. You cannot find him in Antlion Cave. So we can't randomize his location, so we do randomize Zeromus' sprite. The question, of course, is whose butt are we going to kick tonight? There are a bunch of supplementary questions such as, is it cute? Does it have a hat? And all the other memes that have been made in the past, forever. I don't know how old this
Can
meme
it do
is.
my taxes?
We are... It seems like we're coming up to tax season. I don't want to think about that because it's still actually 2023. But let's see. Black Waltz 3.
I don't recognize this one.
I believe you have just gotten banned from Posomorpheus Discord for not recognizing Final Fantasy IX.
Oh no.
Yeah.
This is the only Final Fantasy I've beat.
We do see those centipedes on PlumeriaKnight's side. Just gonna melee them down. We do have a bunch of black mages, so Vivi is certainly in our party. That Palom is gonna substitute nicely. I believe Dave, I don't know what battle speed he dropped it down to, 5 or 6, or maybe even 4. Just to make sure that you get the actions needed to not see a second Big Bang. That is sort of the key takeaway to this strategy. You do not want to see Big Bang number 2. If you do it correctly, you will not. We are doing something called nerfing the first Big Bang. The first one is free because all you have to do is basically trigger that counter nuke by doing a direct spell. And then the first Big Bang will be nerfed to do a maximum of 1200 damage. And then it's just counting time. Just need to count. Make sure you do not deal damage directly to be above 45,000. Because this game can only handle a maximum number of 65,535. So the way the system gets around it, because the Zeromus has 106,000 HP, is that once Zeromus gets to 45,000 HP dealt, it will then refill to 61,000, which is his starting health pool. So 45,000 plus 61,000 is your 106,000 HP. PlumeriaKnight, I believe, is just walking to the top of tower and might be taking the trap chest on the way down.
He did receive the tower key from the Centipede chest in Sylph, so he has no additional reason to not just do his objective.
Fair enough. Probably take those traps on the way out though, and we'll find that he's going to be in go mode as well. But this is a pretty standard Fu and Friends. Dave is definitely very seasoned in this randomizer. I don't expect a wipe from him for something that is sort of, eventually gets to everyone's sort of wheelhouse. Eventually, you play enough of these seeds. The Fu helps. But we shall see. It is never over until that Zeromus crumble happens. Does anyone other than Sid and Fu survive?
No. Oh, Palom does.
Palom survived with enough HP that we're not going to have to worry about HP ran out. PlumeriaKnight picking up that Murasame is going to get that second objective on the board. Has another 2 in hand, or 3 in hand. We know where that last one is, or that 6th one. And I assume we will find out where that harp is on the credit scroll from Dave. Or we might see it from the tower itself. Swapping over for Fu to be that first actor, or Palom, just to immediately dispatch these guards. There's not too much to really talk about what's happening on Dave's side. It's just a bunch of reflecting nukes now, just to get Black Waltz 3 here down before he triggers that second Big Bang. Should be very close now, because that was the second shake. PlumeriaKnight dispatches of the Baron guards. We will know when it finishes because that nuke will stay on the screen. Just like that. Get your GGs out for Engidave, taking this game 2 and taking the series 2-0 to face the winner of the Pyre versus Nericad series.
That was very well run by Dave.
Yes, with an official time of 6:27. Very nice. And with that silent ping in my ear, because I don't have Discord sounds, we welcome our winner into the interview booth. Engidave, GG's.
GG, Dave.
Thank you.
So did you have Fu and Friends on your bingo card tonight?
Fiery, I only did that because I know how much you love Fu and Friends.
99%ers strike again.
In all seriousness, there was just no good strength gear and a Fu.
100% agree. We had the character for strength gear, but none wanted to show up, and that included Sylph Cave.
So my power was throwing angry mop at things.
Were you happy that you didn't have to go to Silvera to pick up the Star Veils in your last possible shot?
I assume you knew Fu and Friends was coming when I started checking every item shop.
Yeah, I believe both Scarsor and I were predicting Fu and Friends. It was a shame. We were hoping the Forge would be, like a Lightbringer that might actually push you a different direction a little bit.
Well, Forge was a Lightbringer. We're just letting Sid hit things, no question.
Yeah, so, I mean, talk a little bit about that, sort of starting the seed decision, especially that early ordeals.
Early ordeals, I was looking for levels.
Okay.
Paladin Forum, they like levels to do stuff, especially for Virus.
And then they got levels because you got more experience in the mirror room.
Yeah, then seeing the blue orb in the mirror, it's like, yes, please. That's levels and an objective out of the way. We don't have to go boss hunting this seed.
The tower key does turn in Plumeria's side, the tower key does turn into the spoon.
Nice. That would also push me more towards a Zerking plan, but...
So we can confirm we've not seen any heroine robes this seed from either player. A little bit unfortunate.
That's also why I alluded to treasure. I was looking for, light swords, heroine robes, tiara, charm rod.
Oh, I'm sure you weren't upset about that ether too, even though you already bought some, according to Scarsor.
I bought a 10-pack of them. I think it cost the ether too because I had 9 still in my inventory.
I think both Scarstar and I figured you were definitely on Food and Friends when you saw Bacchus in the Cocoa Shop and said, I'm not buying any of these.
What do I need to Zerk for? My plan is to wall up and send magical dooms these way.
Exactly. Ooh, that Twin Harp.
That is
Crystal Sword Behemoth.
a Twin Harp location that makes you glad you did ordeals.
Yeah. As you say often, it's like just stay on Earth. Apparently.
Yes. And that was indeed the correct choice. PlumeriaKnight got a little turned around on the moon, taking on that Ruby probably a bit earlier than really was warranted.
Yeah. I peeked my head in there because, if it's KQE, I'll just take it right now for the XP and shot at some gear. Or now Water Hag wouldn't have been killable because it would have done bad things once it got to start punching.
It was oddly enough sort of your best armor and weapon at the time too from that cave Bahamut. So you went up to the moon a lot earlier than PlumeriaKnight. Both of you actually looted Cave Bahamut, but getting I believe a couple of heavy armors and that poison axe was huge.
That's why I walked out rather than resetting.
That's what
it was actual, power.
The best items in the seed.
You're not joking. It was useful items. I'm walking those out every time, given what I had.
Yeah, no, that is definitely warranted there. Another question for you, because I have to ask, being, of course, the Memers Guild. Pinktail was Artemis Arrows out of 10. Would you do that again?
In OMG, every time.
Yeah.
You got to get your complimentary Artemis Arrows.
And here's a question. Do you think the rat tail held the pass?
Probably. I chose to fade it, so most likely yes. Has that question been answered already?
No. And I believe it will not be, because PlumeriaKnight actually took the traps on the way down from the tower and ran into the adamant rock before running into that rat tail.
I can put up my seed real quick and answer that question for you.
Well, wait until you get to the end of the credits. I guess you're probably already there. Yeah, 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10-minute delay. I am long since at the end of the credits.
Fair
10-minute delay. I hit the end when the Z kill comes in.
That is fair enough. So yeah, you could tell us what that rat tail is. Let us make sure that PlumeriaKnight isn't getting that rat tail. But
it's on the
yeah, we just saw it on your spoiler log. It is the Luca key.
Oh, the rat tail is on my spoil? Yeah. There is something else I forgot to check, which I didn't do anyway, so...
Was it a little bit of a panic go mode when you got that your magma key and then earth crystal and then go up tower and see adamant rock and you're just kind of like, A
little bit panic, yes. Jets are always that, oh no, kind of moment.
Well, you're probably thinking, I am really glad I checked ordeals.
Yes, I was. I did it for levels and I still didn't have the hook at that point, I believe.
No. A little bit surprising, I think, on when I was looking at your side doing Edlin to go left and then right. Is it just sort of your preference to get Quake for the Black Hat Lamias versus the Staleman Skull, or what was your sort of...
I had a poison axe for Staleman Skull, so I could bop the Staleman and so I could one-shot the Staleman. And the skulls aren't exactly a problem with any sort of AoE like Fire 2 or Virus.
Okay.
Of course, it's Xenoblade music.
And follow-up. If you had gone left instead of right, and gone to Eblin before Bounty Deals, would you have simply left it and ended up going to the moon, or what? Or is it on the checklist of things
before the moon?
Before the moon? Okay.
I would have gone there before the moon, which means I also would have had pretty much all the loot out of Sylph. Which probably changes the endgame plan, because there's almost always at least one good weapon in there.
I don't know if that was through the seed. So Plumeria did Sylph.
Yeah?
I don't believe it really gave anything.
Wow.
The spoon by the way, the tower key was sort of the prize.
Aaron
Oh,
did
and
not
the
want to step
tower
Alex Knight.
key was
Well
in silver
rolled.
directly. Yeah, well rolled, Aaron Lore.
Ah, yes, there was a power shirt and a strength ring. The power shirt is nice, the strength ring, eh.
I'd rather equip a defensive item.
Yeah, strength ring just isn't that good. It's too low power to really be a thing. Like 5 strength and no defense. Like 2? Is it?
Yeah, it's 2. And not much, and not good on the magic side either.
I think it's a big old goose egg on the magic side.
So with this win, Dave, you are, of course, on to the round of 16 to face the winner of Pyre and Narrowcad. Feeling good about that? Feeling good about your chances in the next round? How do you feel?
Both of these are going to be tough runners. I will definitely be getting to practicing tomorrow.
Fair enough. This was such a jet seat. I don't know if I have many more questions here. It's unfortunate we never did get to see what the giant one play or something like that, or even the last arm. Scarsor, do you have any other questions for Dave?
No, I think you've handled everything very well. GG's once again, Dave. Any final thoughts?
No final thoughts here. Look, thank you, Aaron Lore, for rolling this gem of a seed. You two, Scarsor and Fiery, for doing commentary, and Ryudo for pushing all the buttons.
There were surprisingly a number of buttons to press pretty quickly, despite how fast the seed was.
I will see you guys next time.
Thank you. GG's again. Catching up with PlumeriaKnight, he does have that crystal in hand, did take on that ruby, is walking down to the Zeromus fight, where he will take on Black Waltz number 3. The plan is going to be interesting here. Does not have the Star Veils that Dave has, was not really set up for Fu and Friend, so it looks like it's going to be maybe a little bit of wall here. Doesn't look to be getting levels, but it's probably going to go just send everybody on Zerks. We'll see if
The
that works out.
mythical Quint Zerk.
I don't think Yang will be doing too much. I don't think it would be Quint either, but it's certainly going to look like to be that Porum and that Sid. And then I assume, looks like we may also get Palom joining the party here, and then Fu might just be sort of a, I have Cure 4, and I can nerf the Big Bangs and hopefully get some decent targeting on the counter nukes. It's a little bit of a shame with this 10-minute delay, we're not really going to be able to get these post-stream harps. So we know it's Xenoblade music, which I believe Joe is currently a little bit busy, but I will always appreciate Xenoblade music as well. Enjoyable games for me. But again, we do get to see this walk down the LC yet again. Trying to get a little bit more power before going to Zeromus. Your mage defense gear is going to be what's important. Anything that raises your wisdom or will give you some more extra dodge rolls, but nothing really this seed that helps with that. We did have life staffs for sale at Kokol, but if you're Zerking, you're not going to wear life staffs. But let's see how this goes. I do like this flag set because it does give you that opportunity to be like, you know, quad Zerking, Quint Zerking might be the correct play.
At the very least, you get to let characters who maybe don't often fill the melee role hit things.
Yeah, I mean, outside of this Omnidextrous flag set, Sid is generally either not in your party by now or serving as an anchor. But we do see those Bacchus wine getting drunk. Palom Callum does have over 1200 HP. He can survive a nerf Big Bang. Porum does not, but Porum generally does a very good job at dodging rolls from nukes and Big Bang. So we'll see if that comes into play here. Does this feel also Zerk, or are we just going to get a direct nuke here to nerf? It looks like we're going to get a direct nuke.
Is 2 Bacchus wines and... Oh, it is. Cool. I was going to ask if it was enough delay, but Plumeria is showing us that it is.
Mm-hmm. We're going to see what this target is on this nuke. This counter nuke target is actually pretty pivotal. Callum is honestly not a great target here, just being your third Zerker. But it could be worse. Sid would have been arguably... No, Sid would have been fine because you just throw up a Cure 4. But this is certainly not a trivial Z fight. We are not dealing nearly enough damage to get through this without seeing at least a second Big Bang. You would like to see closer to 10,000 damage, and even that's pretty iffy on seeing a second Big Bang or not. 6,000 damage is sort of just gives you an idea of the lack of power that we've gotten in the seed.
Yeah, usually the lowest I've gone in with so far is about 7 to 9 around.
Yeah, I mean, the mages aren't great for dealing damage here, but the power just really wasn't there this seed in either way. We didn't find black belts for sale, we didn't see bandanas for sale. We found a power shirt, but other than that, it's really it. No great weapons. I mean, Sid's using a white spear, and that's generally a pretty poor state in these Omni flags. So it's interesting to see every once in a while that you can't always just get power overwhelming. So see what PlumeriaKnight can do. Like I said, we are going to see a second Big Bang here. There's absolutely no way we don't.
And a second Big Bang unnerved, that's likely gonna wipe the party. Sid does not do well at dodging those rolls.
No. It's interesting too, right? Because if you nerf that second Big Bang, if that counter nuke goes on Sid, that's also a problem. And there is that cue for that second Big Bang. Fu, by Ether wanting here, is not really going to get an action to nerf unless you maybe run buffer into it. But that nuke is now being set to that spell power. That may have been a little bit of a tip. But yeah, we're not going to see a nerf. We'll see if that was Meteo. It was not. And here's a Big Bang. Does Sid survive? Everyone else is certainly down. Sid does survive. Is he going to do enough damage to kill Black Waltz before Black Waltz kills Sid? Fortunately, does not dodge a Meteo. And does take a wipe. Unfortunate. I believe after that wipe, PlumeriaKnight has decided to forfeit the race, knowing that the race is over. So GG's to PlumeriaKnight, who we are now joined by.
Hello.
Hello. GG's.
Well, not really.
A little bit less power than you expect for this flag set.
Yeah. Also, all that moon crap was a big waste of time.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. Both that the ribbon not really paying off with that hair dryers and the Ruby fight getting a little bit out of hand with that glare targeting on Porum.
Yeah, that was get some more levels. Maybe we get something really nice, and then we can do trap chests. But all I found was a poison axe, so I could do the red giant chest. And then, well, when I wiped to Ruby, I didn't really want to do anything. I just wanted to go finish the seed and get it over with.
Yeah, it absolutely makes sense. Well, it's the first one through Eblin, though, and also good call on going to ordeals. Is that generally your motto with these, or your your play style to go to ordeals that early as well?
No. I really wanted Quake on Palom because I just had no power. So I figured that was my best bet to get through the Sailman and the and maybe something on the moon. Even then, the single Quake wasn't quite enough to get through the hair dryers.
Yeah, I will say it was interesting looking over to your screen during that Ruby fight and being like, "Oh, Palom's doing 6,700 in the Quake."
Yeah, it's I should have zerked Sid, but maybe I get through that fight if with some lucky targeting. But in reality, I should never have taken that fight in the first place. I should have just said, "Okay, that might be Ruby or Elements. Let's come back later."
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because neither you nor Dave checked what boss was on Hobbs, so you didn't have that information straight out. Dave didn't even bother checking what it was, and you did. But yeah, I mean that's the way CCs sometimes go, right? And unfortunately, in your case, it went well enough for the longest time, and then eventually just got away.
Yeah, I pushed it too far. I don't know. It doesn't feel like I win regardless. I think there is too much time there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think the big thing there with that Fu being down Eblin sort of swung it that way too, where it's just like if you get through that
Yeah.
Ruby and then you immediately see that Fusoya just hanging out there in Eblin, you're just kind of like,
Yeah, that's not great.
I mean, that's a risk with these sort of flags where you generally have a high amount of power. In this case, you didn't, but there was some hidden in there with that Fusoya.
Yeah, Mr. Stinky makes another appearance, ruins another tournament.
He has been on vacation before. He may go on vacation again.
Yeah, if I have anything to say about it, he'll be on permanent vacation. He'll be retired.
Here's what we do, right? We make a new wacky. It's called Reverse Vanilla Fusoya, where he starts with 1900 HP and all his spells, and then for every boss you beat, or we can do with every key item, whichever way you want to go here. If you want to make Fu a little bit more viable, just go in reverse. The Benjamin Button strat here.
Well, it's been a great tournament. Didn't go my way, but that's how it goes sometimes. I still feel pretty good about getting to 13th place and giving it a good try against Engidave. Knew it wasn't going to be easy, so.
No, but I mean, still, always great to see you and Dave play each other. It's great to watch your gameplay as well.
I appreciate it. Wish I could have made it a little more exciting for you guys. So it goes.
That's how randomizers are gonna go, right? Rando's gonna rando sometimes. Just real fast, Scarcer, do you have any questions for PlumeriaKnight?
No questions. Just GG. You played well, and rando got ya.
All right, thanks a lot.
Sure, we'll see you around as a tournament event, right?
Oh, for sure. I'll be around and hopefully helping out with restreams and general admin stuff. So
hopefully rolling some more hot.
All right, take care, everybody.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
So what a race, Scarcer.
What a race. I did not come into this tonight expecting to see Fu and friends, and I am enlightened for it.
Yes. But yeah, that really does take us to the end of this restream. Again, this was game 2 of the Engidave PlumeriaKnight Dave winning the series 2-0 is going to face the winner of Pyre and Nericad. Pyre being the one who drafted this wonderful matchup for us. I do not know when game 2 of that is going to be either, but stay tuned for that. It was fun. This is the first time that I've been commentating for Free Enterprise, so it was great to commentate with you, Scarcer. We've hung out quite a bit over the past few months, so it's great to be on my first FE comms with you.
You know, I thought you were messing with me when you said that. So it was a pleasure to be with you for your first time on Free Enterprise comms.
Absolutely. And I do want to give another shout out to our restreamer and roller of this wonderful no power seed, Arlenor, and our tracker, Ryudu, for pressing all the buttons and keeping us in line. As a person who normally tracks, it is harder than it looks. I can absolutely see the value when you're commentating. You might just look away at the wrong screen and miss what, a rat tail coming from lower Babel. But with that, I believe we are done here, right, Scarcer?
I believe so. I think the plan is to be raiding out to Free Enterprise 2, where another match is going on between Flurry and John Burkhead.
I believe the Free Enterprise 2 channel, which is currently game 1 of, I believe, Flurry and John Burkhead. So we shall hopefully kick it off over to Free Enterprise 2. Please do not spoil this race. Keep it mum. Enjoy more Free Enterprise. Enjoy more memes. I believe Possum is commentating that one, so if you want to hear the line, make sure to ask him for the line when they get the magma key, or ask him if they already have the magma key. But yes, absolutely. Thank you again to both Dave and PlumeriaKnight for putting on a wonderful race. And thank you all for watching, and that is it for me, Fiery Blizzard, and I believe that's it for the rest of us in the Free Enterprise channel.